Alright, welcome back to another trade recap. As you can see by the title, we caught another dub today. That's exactly what we're looking for. Same thing, supply and demand. Today was a little bit of a more patient day, I would say. I had to be a lot more patient because we can see right here that we have 9:30 opening right here with this buying candle, and we started getting selling pressure, and I started looking for sells to start off, but the market just, when it started the retracement, the market started moving really fast. So I never got the sell, and then after we got that buying pressure, I don't know why this is not loading. I don't know what's up with my Wi-Fi right now. But once this gets back to loading, I'll be back. One thing I did want to mention for anyone who is looking for a mentorship or coaching, I did open up more mentorship spots. We got a few spots already booked in, so if you're looking to start this mentorship, make sure to check out the link in the description. The main people that I'm trying to work with is people who are working a 9 to 5, or they're working a job and they're looking to make extra income, maybe like 3 to 5K a month, or either quit their job and go trading full time. Because I have one of my students who is still working his 9 to 5, but he just was able to withdraw over 10,000 in payouts. So that's exactly why I want to work with those type of people, because that's like a good feeling knowing that somebody that I worked with, one of my students, set a goal. He just wanted to make some extra income, and he was able to achieve that. So if you're someone who's just looking to make an extra income, or trade full time, you're working your job, you don't want to just rely on that income, make sure to check out the link in the description. We'll hit you up. We'll see if you're the right fit. But that's just like the main people that I want to work with. So if that fits you, just make sure to check out and apply. It takes like 1 minute to apply, and we'll get right back to you. So as I was talking about before, we had 9:30 open right here, and we started getting selling pressure. So I started looking for sells because we broke that first structure that I was looking for. But when I was looking to get into a sell, there was no supplies that were created. Was looking at this supply right here for a sell, but it just moved way too fast and never even got an entry. So after that, my sell bias was over. So now I was just waiting for this structure right here to be broken at this high. And then after it broke this high, I was just looking for the nearest demand, and I found one on the 2-minute. I think the 2-minute, 3-minute, and the 5-minute had the same demand, so it didn't really matter which time frame I was looking at. But I think I was on the 2-minute when I first got in this trade, and we got this demand. I got this exit up here, which is, I think, of 1 hour supply. Yeah, so we had this 1 hour supplies that I was looking to target. Obviously, we rejected off this structure right here, this lower high right here. So I never got that full exit. So that's why you can see by the execution. If you want to go check that out, check out my Instagram or TikTok. It'll be down in the description. But that was my full exit right there. But we started to trail the trade, and I was just trailing each demand. But after we got to a certain point, I just started trailing the candles just to secure more profits. And we finally got stopped at, I think it was here at this demand. Sadly, we had this long wick, so the stop loss was a little bit shorter. So I think overall we got like a 1.5, 1.4 risk to reward. I think we had like a good entry, so it ended up being like a 1.5, which is perfect. That's like my average risk to reward, like a 1.5, 1.7. So I was satisfied with that. Of course, if we would have hit full TP, would have got like a 4 risk to reward. But at the end of the day, I'm not looking for those big trades. My whole goal with this trade was to just trail it, after we got to a certain point. And we ended up doing that, and we ended up securing profits, which was great. You can see right now that we're starting to reverse after we started, got this double top. So I think my exit was fine. I'm never looking to get those big trades. Of course, if I do, of course, I'd be happy about that. But my whole goal is to secure profits and to make sure that I'm minimizing my risk and maximizing my profits. And we maximized the profits today. So all in all, today was a really good day. It was a lot. It was, like I said, I really had to be patient on this one. I think I got my entry around like 10. Usually I like to get my entry around like 9:35 to 9:45, but we had to wait a little bit longer for this trade. And honestly, I didn't mind. It tested my patience, and I proved that I'm a patient trader. And that's the whole goal with trading. You got to be patient. You got to wait for your setup to appear. You can't just have FOMO and then just start getting into a trade. So today was a really good day, just skills wise, not even, the profits that I made, but the fact that I was patient, the fact that I waited for my setup and I executed perfectly. We trailed the trade perfectly. Everything just was perfect. So really good day today. I'm not going to try to make this trade recap too long, but it was a great trade. It was a great trade today. That's really all I could say. I was also looking at gold. I did want to mention that I'm going to most likely start trading gold. I was looking at it before New York session open, and you can already see that I had an alert for this 15-minute demand. This was the demand that I was looking at that opened before New York session, and we could see that it tapped into the demand and that instantly it rejected, and we're starting to get buying pressure. So I was looking at this trade. I didn't end up getting in because I'm not fully trusted with gold. I'm just looking at it, making sure that I'm forward testing it, see if it actually works, and we can see that it works. So I might start looking into gold a little bit more. You might see a couple trades on gold, so we'll see about that. But NASDAQ is my bread and butter. It's the one that I like trading. With gold, it's more, I like to trade on the 5-minute or the 15-minute, but with NASDAQ, I like to scalp, and we had a great scalp today. But all in all, today was a great day, great way to end the week. Back-to-back wins. We're going to come back next week, see how we do. I'm not sure if we have news next week, but we didn't have a lot of news this week. That's why I was able to get really good trades in this week. So we'll see next week. I want to go over one more time this demand setup. So I just waited for the breaker structure. We have this high, we had this breaker structure. You can see right here, we closed above, we pulled back into this demand on the 2-minute, 3-minute, and the 5-minute had the same demand. But if we check it out on the 2-minute, we can see we broke structure. We pulled back into it, and then we kept on going up. So this was my demand setup, and then I started to trail the trade after each candle closed pretty much. But on the 1-minute, I was trailing the demands. So I was trailing this demand right here that was created, then it reacted off this demand, then I trailed this demand right here, and then I continued to trail each demand just to secure profits, trail my trades so that if it pulls back, we secure profits, and we could see that it was the right move to secure those profits. So all in all, really good day today, and I'll see you guys next week for another trade recap.